So, good morning. In the subject of engineering thermodynamics, today we are going to see ultimate analysis of coal. So, ultimate analysis. In a previous lecture, we saw proximate analysis. Now, in this lecture, we will go for ultimate analysis. This is also known as elemental analysis. So, coal is basically composed of many content that just like hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, and no doubt the main preliminary content is a carbon. So in ultimate analysis, we have to find out all these content in terms of percentage. So it is used, this ultimate analysis is used to know the composition of that particular coal sample. It is utilized to find out the various percentage of carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen. Also, this can be used to find out the content of ash and nitrogen. So let's see how to find out that carbon and hydrogen content in a coal by using this ultimate analysis. So to find out carbon and hydrogen, we have to take one known sample of coal, known quantity. That means suppose you are taking a 10 gram of coal sample. So like that, we must know what is the quantity, what is the sample weight. So we have to take that known quantity of coal sample and it is burned completely. That means we are not expecting any partial burning. We are expecting all carbon get converted into CO2. Complete combustion should be there. It is not expected some carbon particle will partially burn and convert into CO. We are expecting all carbon get converted into CO2. So taking a known quantity of coal, it burn in a specialized tube, burning tube, combustion tube, and in presence of excess oxygen. So why excess oxygen? If there is a deficiency of oxygen, then your carbon will not be converted completely into CO2. It will partially converted and form a CO, carbon monoxide. So we have to supply excess oxygen, so all carbon will react and convert it into CO2. So this is the whole setup there. This is our combustion tube, and one side there is a entry allow for oxygen, and oxygen it is in a dry state. We are not adding any oxygen or supplying any oxygen which is a wet. It is a dry state. So dry oxygen we are supplying in this combustion tube. In this combustion tube there is a one platinum boat. You can say a cup, platinum metal cup, and below that there is a burner. Whatever be the coal sample we are selected, the known quantity of that coal sample we put in this platinum boat. Then with the help of this burner we start burning. That combustion take place. Now whatever be the combustion take place, it might be possible that some carbon is not completely converted, they remain as CO, partially combustion, partially converted, so carbon monoxide. So such partial combustion we have to avoid. For that there is one furnace, copper oxide pellets, that furnace having copper oxide pellet, and this copper oxide behave like promoting that chemical reactions. So whatever be the carbon monoxide form, when it is passing through this furnace, so it promote the chemical reaction and partially combustion carbon particles get converted into CO2, and that is a complete combustion. So at the exit of this furnace, we obtain complete combustion, that is complete chemical reaction in the form of CO2. So to avoid the traces of CO or partial combustion, we provide one furnace where copper oxide pellets are there, which promote the chemical reactions, and it helps to form a complete reaction, complete combustion take place. After that, this tube having a two U-tube sections, they are detachable. First U-tube having a one anhydrous calcium chloride solution, and no doubt you know in better way that calcium chloride absorb waters, that is H2O. Second U-tube having KOH solution, and KOH absorb CO2, and whatever be the excess oxygen is there, definitely it will move out. So at the beginning, as we know that we are taking a known quantity of coal, at the same time, at the beginning, before we start our experiment, we have to know the weight of this U-tube separately. So what is the U-tube weight for this anhydrous calcium chloride? What is the weight of this U-tube of KOH solution? So we will calculate the weight before any reaction takes place. And once we start combustion, so combustion definitely having CO2 and H2O. So H2O will absorb by this first U-tube. As H2O get absorbed, so its weight will increase. CO2 will absorb by this KOH solution, so its weight will increase. And after your complete experimentation, when complete coal get burned out, so again we weight this U-tube separately. So whatever be the rise in weight, that much amount of hydrogen, water, H2O, is generated during that burning of coal. Whatever be the rise in weight of this KOH solution U-tube, that much amount of CO2 is there in your carbon, that is coal sample. So this is your experiment. So we have to take our known volume of coal sample. Suppose 10 gram coal is taken, kept in platinum boat, supply pure and dry oxygen to this combustion chamber, combustion tube. With the help of burner, we burn all this coal. These coal fumes, that means having a carbon dioxide and water vapors, H2O, and might be possible some partially burned CO, carbon monoxide. These gases passing through this furnace where it promote the reaction. So whatever be the partial combustion products get converted into completely reacting product, just like CO2 or H2O. And then these CO2 and H2O is passing through this first U-tube where H2O get absorbed. Then second U-tube where CO2 get absorbed. And once we observe that this complete coal is get burned, then we stop our experiment and again we wait for this U-tube separately. Now the reactions, how the reaction take place. So carbon from the coal react with oxygen and forming CO2. Now what is this 12 plus 32 is equals to 44, that is molecular weight, correct? So carbon having a molecular weight 12, oxygen having 32, and after reacting we obtain CO2 which having a molecular weight 44. Now imagine, suppose I am talking about 44 grams of CO2 is there. To develop 44 gram of CO2, how much carbon is required? So it is 12 gram carbon is required, correct? So 44 gram of CO2 required 12 gram of carbon. So if I am asking, suppose 1 gram of CO2, how much carbon is required? So we will shift this 44. So for 1 gram of CO2, we require 12 by 44 gram of carbon. Suppose I am changing the unit. Suppose I am talking about kg. So 44 kg of CO2 require 12 kg of carbon. So 1 kg of CO2, how much carbon will be there? So 12 by 44. That much amount of carbon is required. Correct? So from this, we come to know how much is the carbon percentage. So we actually calculate in terms of CO2, and with the help of this relation, we come to know how much is the carbon content in that coal sample. Correct? So in this, during experiment in KOH solution, we actually absorb CO2. And with the help of this relation, we find out how much is the carbon content in that coal sample. In the same manner, H2 plus half O2 get converted into H2O. How much is the molecular weight of this? So H2 having a 2, oxygen as it is half. So molecular weight will be 16 and H2O it become 18. Now can I say this 18 gram of H2O required 2 gram of H2? Or in terms of kg, suppose 18 kg of H2O required 2 kg of H2. So 1 kg of H2O required 2 by 18 H2 hydrogen. So from this relation, we come to know how much is the hydrogen contained in our coal sample. So here we actually absorb H2O, that is water vapors. But with the help of relation, we come to know how much is the hydrogen content in that coal sample. Correct? So for CO2, we come to know that 12 by 44 amount of carbon will be there. For H2O, we come to know that 2 by 18 amount of H2 is required. So remember this relation. Now next, we will find out how the carbon percentage is there. So how to calculate carbon percentage? So percentage of carbon in the coal. We conduct the experiment. We know how much amount of coal sample is there. Before burning, before combustion, we measure it. Before experiment gets started, we measure these U-tube weights separately. Now we are talking about a carbon. So carbon will be find out with the help of this second manometer, sorry, U-tube, that is having a KOH solution. So how the reaction take place? So KOH solution plus CO2, it get converted into K2CO3 plus H2O. Then after balancing, we come to know that 2 KOH plus CO2 get converted into K2CO3 plus H2O. So this chemical reaction take place. Now, before starting experiment, suppose we check the weight of that U-tube having a KOH solution, and that weight is suppose W1. After complete experimentation, when CO2 get absorbed in this KOH solution, we again weight that U-tube, and we found that the weight is increased and now the weight is W2. From this, we come to know how much is the carbon dioxide. We are not directly calculating carbon. So from the difference of this weight, we come to know what is the weight of actual CO2 get absorbed. So weight of CO2 is W2 minus W1. This much amount of CO2 get absorbed, or CO2 is evolved during combustion of this known sample of coal. Now from this weight of CO2, we are going to calculate the percentage of carbon. For this, the formula is percentage of carbon is. For this much weight of CO2, we know that carbon required is 12 by 44. So 12 by 44 multiplied by weight of CO2 divided by weight of that coal sample multiply by 100, so we get a percentage. So how to calculate the carbon content in coal? So percentage of carbon is 12 by 44 multiplied by weight of CO2. How to know that weight of CO2? So it is by using the difference of this U-tube. Before experimentation, what is the weight? After experimentation, what is the weight? So the difference of weight, we come to know what is the weight of CO2. And at the beginning, we already know what is the weight of our coal sample. From this, we come to know what is the percentage of carbon. Now, for H2O, percentage of hydrogen. So percentage of hydrogen, we have to calculate the total weight of H2O, water vapors. Now the reaction, all H2O get absorbed in this first manometer, anhydrous, which having a calcium chloride solution. So calcium chloride CaCl2 plus H2O, it is going to form CaCl2 7 times H2O. After balancing, we come to know that 7 H2O is required, so it becomes 7 times H2O. So whatever be the hydrogen water vapors H2O is formed, completely absorbed by that U-tube solution, that is CaCl2. Now we know that H2O, but we are interested in finding hydrogen H2. So before experimentation, we will measure the weight of this U-tube. Suppose that is W1. After all H2O get absorbed, again we wait at the end of our experiment, what is the weight. So there will be rise in weight, and with the help of a weight difference, we come to know what is the weight of H2O actually get absorbed. Now from this, we know that percentage of hydrogen. How much is the hydrogen is there with H2O? So there is a relation 2 by 18. So 2 by 18 multiplied by weight of H2O divided by weight of coal sample multiply by 100, so it will be in percentage. So this is the very easy way to find out the percentage content of carbon and hydrogen. Remember, in oral it is many times asked, you are calculating carbon and hydrogen, but you are measuring what? CO2, weight of CO2 and weight of H2O, water vapors, correct? So by using this method, we are actually measure the weight of CO2 and H2O, and with the help of relations, we calculate percentage of carbon and hydrogen. We are not measuring percentage of carbon and hydrogen with this experimentation. We are measuring weight of H2O and CO2, and with the help of relations formulas, we are calculating. So there is a difference between measurement and calculations. Okay.